All right, so this is my next video um, in my standard tool loadout kit that I use on the job site every day. A lot of people laugh at me for this, but I wear a like full carpenter's tool belt setup on on the job site as an industrial electrician. Um, the only one that I know does this. I used to think tool belts were for nerds until I used one the first time, and I stopped losing my tools. I saved time, um, and I didn't have to walk back and forth to the toolbox constantly, which keeps me mentally focused and on task, and it saves time, gets the job done faster, production, increase, time decrease, more money in your pocket. So as an industrial electrician, this is what I have on my waist all day long. The most important things, I keep these in my tool belt. When I'm done with the job, I take the tool belt off with these things in it and I hang it in my truck. This came out of my truck like this. So what I have as an industrial electrician is a set of tweakers, flat tip. Always using flat tip tweakers. I don't have them in here. They're in my bag in there, in the tweaker bag, but these are the ones I go for, the longer ones. This is my go-to. The shorter tweakers, I don't use them. This is a Milwaukee brand that comes as a set. There's a little bit bigger size tip Phillips head that comes with this one. Those two are my go-to. This is a multi screwdriver tweaker. It has different size. There's a Phillips on there. And then if I flip this around, it's hard to do with one hand. But this is a Klein 4-in-1. It has the rotating head on there, just like most tweakers do. That covers about all of the rest of my tweakers jobs. The small Phillips head, this long flat head that I use, and then this guy covers everything else. So like 3 tweakers is all I need. I have the carpenter's pencil. We do periodically need a pencil to mark things up, drawings. Sometimes we're cutting things, cutting metal. Fat Sharpie. I also keep a double-ended Sharpie. I don't know if you guys know. I just got some from the store. They're not here, but I have a double-ended Sharpie. It's a regular Sharpie, but on the other side, there's a cap that pops off, and it's a fine tip. So if I'm labeling wires and I don't have my wire label on me, or it's just quicker to put a quick mark on the label, the little fine tip is awesome for that. And then I can use a full-size Sharpie on the other end to write things out. But sometimes it's good to have a big Sharpie if you want to, write on bigger stuff, boxes, or on the bus bars, label them ABC, neutral, ground. Go to tools. Said in the other video, there it is, the 3/8 drive, chewed up because I always use it. The extension, I always end up needing an extension. It's just nice to have an extension on there to get around things. It pulls the tool away from the work surface. Always have strippers. Always have a set of dikes. Went ahead and got myself a good pair of, Klein brand, both of these, heaviest duty I could find. I like, for strippers, I wish more companies would do this. Pay attention, Klein. Make all of your strippers like this. All of the companies make them like this. I want crimpers in there for doing lugs, terminals. I want strippers, and I want little pliers. I want all of those things in one tool. And I want a heavy-duty ergonomic handle. You have a better handle than this one. It's higher quality, more ergonomic, stiffer, better material, but you don't have it on this tool. I want that. I went to Gray Bar Electric, specialty electric store, and bought those. And you didn't have the set that I want. Smaller sockets in here that I need. I'll throw in here my other magnetic tips. Always keep these in here periodically for doing self-tappers. I'll need these smaller sizes. So I keep those just in this little pocket. These are awesome. I put drawings, tech drawings in there, wiring diagrams, slap it right on the switchboard. It's right at eye level where I need it. I can keep my hands free and look at the drawing while I got my hands in the switchboard. I use this little pocket for work gloves. I like all leather work gloves. I've tried the synthetic fabric ones, and they all get destroyed. All of them. They can't handle long-term abuse. These will last forever. I can clean them up with saddle soap periodically if I want to keep them oiled. They're amazing. These are if you're going to buy work gloves, these are it. Now, you're not going to get much dexterity out of them, but if you need dexterity, you're not really working with something that you need this heavy of a stuff of gloves. And that's why I use the 9mm latex gloves. They're nitrile. What else do I got on my tool belt that I use it for? So you can see there's a bunch of fasteners. These are the bolts, the 5/8 bolts we use all the time. This was a hex drive Torx bit that fell apart. What brand is that? We're going to call them out. Oh, it's a Husky. I'll have to see if they have warranty so I can get a replacement, because that's the size I use because it's broken. This is a piece of rail. All of our little power supplies for controls go on there, and terminal boards. It all snaps onto this little channel. We screw this into the side of the board and things strap onto it. Put my pencils and pens in there like you saw, my paint marker for marking things. I use my paint marker also for torque checking. I like to have my paint marker match my color on the job site, so when I torque check something and I have an orange stripe on there, I know that I torque checked it and not somebody else. So that's cool. Pick your own color and rock it hard. Another go-to tool, so I don't have to keep walking back and forth to the toolbox, which saves a crap load of time, is this Milwaukee. How many in one is this? So the tips, it's like a 4-in-1 tip, but these holes are nut drivers. When you take those out of there, those are nut drivers. So it's more than a 4-in-1, but I don't know what they're going to call it. I think, so it comes with two-sided bits like this one. There's a Phillips on one side, flathead on the other, large and small. I don't know screwdriver numbers. Okay, so deal with it. I think this is for whatever other bits that you might want to throw in there. Maybe a Torx. That would be convenient. This whole shaft comes out. There's another one on the other side. Yeah, marked with orange, so I know it's mine. I went with orange because it's nice and bright. I can see it from across the room. I learned the hard way. Didn't mark my stuff enough. Well, I did have my stuff marked. I'm used to it from the Navy. Everybody will steal your tools, and you'll find your tools again when you're looking to borrow somebody else's tools. You'll find your tools in their toolbox. Always mark your stuff so that you can eventually get it back. Sometimes people are just tired and they just borrow them and they forget where they came from. Somebody else cleaned up. They're not necessarily thieving. But so we worked in the dark, and my stuff is labeled with a bright orange color. You can see with this one, there's orange all over it. doesn't look like anybody else's. Half of my batteries disappeared into somebody else's toolbox because it was dark and they couldn't tell. I did get my stuff back eventually, but only because I marked my stuff as much as I do. So I always do that. So I said before about back to the tool belt, it saves a lot of time because I'm not walking back and forth to the toolbox. I can climb the switchboard, load this up with all of the fasteners that I need. I have all the tools that I need in here. My light has this clip on the top here. It has that clip. It comes undone, snaps out of place, locks into place. There's one in the back here. Pretty neat. Forgot to include that in the other video. I can clip that. Today I used it. I clipped it onto the hammer rail there. I put my keys on there. My keys have my truck keys and my lockout tagout keys on the lanyard, so that clips on there. I have them there instead of on my belt, covered up by the pouches, so they swing freely and out of the way. Yeah, I wish they would have had the darker color. I don't like this tan. I like the darker color leather, but this is what they had. What brand is this? McGuire's? McGuire Nicholas? I got it at Home Depot. It's quality. I went with leather. I had a synthetic fabric one that my wife bought me. I still have it. It still works, but I noticed the Cordura braided synthetic fabric. It wears and then it starts to fray. Leather doesn't fray. If your seam starts to rip or a rivet comes out, it's not going to fray on you. You can restitch it and re-rivet it. You go to Tandy Leather and get the supplies, and then it's good as new. It's not going to fray on you because it's not a woven fabric. Some other things I put in there. I have a box cutter. Where's my box cutter? Wait, one. I just remembered. I put it in my new bag that I'm about to do a video on. My box cutter is the go-to tool. Always have a knife on you. Always. Knives are the most important tool since like the beginning of humanity. People were making knives out of bones and rocks. I moved to, let me take a seat. I moved to a box cutter. Why did I do that? I don't have time to sharpen knives. If my knife goes dull on the job site, you know, I don't have time to sharpen it. I need it to work. I want a new fresh blade. This has spare blades. I'll do a separate video on this one, but real quick, this has spare blades in here. There's a little Phillips head bit in here with storage for another bit. So this folds out. It's a Phillips and whatever other bit you want to store in here. Safety blade, not safety blade, but a razor blade is in there. It has a little, I guess that would be like a seatbelt cutter notch. Kind of stupid. But this is the best one I have seen so far. I haven't bought any other ones. This was the highest price one they had at Lowe's. Has a belt clip on there, which is awesome. I clip it in my pocket when I'm not wearing my tool belt. This is the way to go if you're going to keep a knife on you. Always razor sharp because it's a razor blade. If your blade goes dull, you throw it away and you get a new one. They're cheap. They have stackable razor blade dealies. I'll probably include on the video. I'll do a separate video just on this and how awesome it is. But I always keep one of these go-to. If I'm not wearing my tool belt, it's in my pocket. When it is in my tool belt, it's right there in the center thing next to my lighter so I can light up a smoke. Don't smoke, it's bad for you. That is the end of the tool belt video. yeah, not much more to say about tool belt. It's a tool belt, but a lot of people thinking about getting one. Maybe I don't know. I think it's a great idea. The only drawback to this is sometimes with all the stuff in here, it's too wide for me to be crawling into tight spaces inside of a switchboard. And I have to like work extra hard to get in or out. But really, it's not that huge of a deal. I'd rather do that for that one time than walk back and forth to the toolbox as I watch everyone else on my job do. This will even hold my ratchet will go in there. My impact driver has the belt clip. I clip it on the back. It's awesome. Love it. I wish they had more holes, or these were like sized to different people. It's a little loose on me. I have a 38 size waist. That sounds big. 28. I got super skinny since I switched to veggies, and I'm a little guy, so at the smallest hole here, it's still a little big. I could put more eyelets in it, but I feel like they should make different size ones, or maybe America should do some exercise and stop eating so much donuts. I don't know. Yeah, that's the end of this video. I love you guys. I'm out.